Today I'm going to give you some rapid fire tips to improve your photography right now, kind of some little hacks and insider tips. So Monique here of Silver Paw Studio and founder of Pro Pet Photog. I've been a full-time professional pet and people photographer here in Colorado for 10 plus years, and I have a few tips that I have gathered over that time that I'm going to give to you rapid fire today. First of all, especially with people, if it bends, bend it. So instead of having a person like this, you're going to bend them this way. You're going to bend their arm this way. You're going to bend their neck this way, that way. You're going to add a little bit of space here. Anything that bends, you want to bend it. You're taking a three-dimensional person or pet and putting them on a two-dimensional surface, and you want to add that dimension. So if it bends, bend it. Fingers, wrists, elbows. For dogs, have them sitting at an angle. There's all kinds of ways to do this. Okay, lighting. I had a whole video on how I use these lights here in the studio, and here is the very quick and dirty settings for your lights. 45, 45, 2 to 1. And what does that mean? It means you're going to have your lights at 45 degrees from the subject and 45 degrees from the camera. So above the subject and from the camera or the position. This isn't right here, but you'll watch that video. So 45 degrees and 45 degrees, and then 2 to 1. Start off with having one flash twice as bright as the other, and then dial it in from there. That is the best starting point you can have for very basic lighting in the studio. Just remember those four numbers, 45, 45, 2 to 1. Okay? There you go, you're welcome. With pets, you want to get lower. Are you low enough? No, get lower. Not quite, get lower. I am often, especially outside on location, I am laying on the ground. I have like jeans and my studio shirts on all the time, and I have a lot of these. These are going to be covered in gravel and cactus and dirt and grass, so many things, but you're laying all the way on the ground. It is an amazing perspective of these pets, and if you have the people sitting with them, it's dreamy. And if you can get a little bit of that blurry foreground in there, especially I shoot 70 to 200 when I'm outside, get way down, get that grass out of focus right here. Oh my gosh, it's delightful. Trust me, get all the way down, get lower, get lower, get lower. If they're up on something, like in my studio, I have the ottoman and the bench, get down, not just at their eye level, but almost at their paw level. You don't want to be looking up at them, but practice getting lower. Next one, at your session, have water available for people and pets. This is amazing. People love this. I have a collapsible water bowl and a jug of water and like a little towel for the dogs that get drooly. Have that at your sessions. I have that all here in the studio as well. I have little bottles of water for clients, dog water dishes, all of that here, but I also take that on location. Always have some water with you any time of year. This one is interesting, but it's true. Clients want you to be bossy. And what I mean by that is the whole, what do I do with my hands? Someone steps into a studio area like this, they really don't know what to do, and their perspective of where they're standing is completely different than what you're seeing in your camera, so you need to constantly be telling them what you need from them. Turn their head a little bit, bring their chin down, cross their arms, uncross their arms, sit like this, get their other good side, ask them how they're doing, make jokes, constantly be talking to help people feel comfortable and guide them into position. A lot of photographers don't like doing this. They feel bossy, overbearing, but trust me, your clients want you to do this. Get good at being bossy. Now, that's just, I just put that in there because it's funny, but just be directive. Let them know, this is gonna look great. This is gonna look great. And always tell them they're looking good. But help put them in the places that's gonna be most flattering. They're counting on you as a professional to do that. This one pertains to when you're outside. I often like to shoot in open shade, so maybe under the shade of a big tree or the shadow of a building. What happens though, when I get all the way down, like previous tip, is that I hadn't accounted for the bright area beyond the shade of the tree, and that is super distracting. So when you're looking through your viewfinder, you've gotten all the way down, right? You got that beautiful picture of the dog in the open shade. Check the background. Make sure it's not completely blown out. So I've done that on more than one occasion. Yes, you can fix that to an extent in Photoshop, but if it's completely blown out, there's no data there to save. So watch your backgrounds for bright, completely big, bright spots. Ooh, this is a good one. Keep your outtakes. So if you snap a photo where people's eyes are closed and the dog's funky and their ears are doing this, keep them. Show those to your clients. They're great for the albums. They're great for social media posts about silly things. Always have those in there. You never know when you're going to stumble across something that your client's like, oh my gosh, they do that all the time. I love it. Will they put that up on the wall really big? Maybe, but they'll want it in some capacity. That is a part of their dog just as much as the action or the pose or anything else you're trying to do, the epic pictures. Keep outtakes, intentionally shoot outtakes. Outtakes, the in-between images. It is okay to bring a cheat sheet to a session. This kind of goes along with Be Bossy. Like this is something you can show them. Like, this is what I'm trying to go for. So not only is it for you, if you're new to posing and putting dogs in certain positions, remembering your whole shot list, this could help your client. You could show them, this is what I'm aiming for. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, you want me to sit like this? Yes. And then you have kind of a checklist. So especially when you're beginning, you're going to find that you forget some of the images that you're supposed to take in your mind you were supposed to take. So bring a printout, bring cheat sheets. It's okay. Whether it's on your phone or a piece of paper, this helps you, it helps your client, and it'll help your sale in the end. Okay, here's a pet peeve of mine. Not everything has to be at 2.8 aperture. You don't have to have a shallow aperture on every single image you ever take. Okay? Sometimes it's cool to see the stuff in the background. Sometimes we get such a shallow aperture. If you watched my video when I was doing photo reviews, sometimes the aperture is so shallow you only get the snout of the dog and nothing else is in focus. That's so distracting sometimes. So be really careful about that. I know you're trying to compensate for the light a lot of times, but not everything has to be 1.4 or 2.8, that shallow a depth of field. I should mention too, if you're a beginner and you want more input on the images you're creating, I do have a membership that's a photo review membership at propetphotog.com. So be sure to check that out if that is something you're interested in. Another thing is be wary of trends. You want to have your style, but if it's too trendy or too dated, like we can all look back at our yearbook and go, oh my. Why did I think that was good? And it's not just outfits and hairstyles and shoes and jewelry, those kind of things. It can be your editing style. Is that really so trendy, or is it really part of your style? One thing that was really trendy a couple years ago for people who lived in wooded areas was dog on a log in the woods. And everybody started doing it. Dog on a log in the woods, these dark, moody pictures. I could have done that and probably gotten traction, but that is just a dark mood to me. I don't have forests really in my area, not like that. And we don't have off-leash dog things. There was a lot of reasons I didn't do that, but most of all, it was like, that seems like a trend that everybody just suddenly jumped on. So be careful whether you're doing, this is really your style, or if it's just a trend that you're copying from someone. Here's a big one. Every image you see on Instagram is edited. Every one of them. Newsflash. And you're going to see this more and more. There is a trend of people showing befores and afters in their work on Instagram and TikTok especially, where they'll be like, oh, here's the original image and here's after I edit it. And it can be shockingly different. So every time you get on Insta and you're like comparing, going, oh, my picture's not that good, trust me, theirs weren't either. Most of the time, there's a lot of Photoshop put into these images that look especially perfect. So please don't compare yourself to everybody's end project. Your straight out of camera is not the same as their edited, okay? So just remember that. Every time you scroll, go, nope, this was edited, this was edited. Every single time you want to compare, They have different circumstances, different style, and it was all edited. Newsflash. Okay, and my last one in this rapid fire is, you're way better than you think you are. Yeah. You are doing an awesome job, and you probably are undercutting your abilities. Again, if you saw my photo review video here on YouTube, you'll see that people thought they were doing way worse than they really were. And a lot of the pictures were so good, I barely suggested anything. So I'm willing to bet that you are way, way better than you give yourself credit for. So there you go. Those are my rapid fire tips and hacks and whatever you want to call it for the photography part of your pet and people photography journey. If you want to know my, what did I call them? Hacks? It was shortcuts. If you want to know my business shortcuts list, you're going to have to watch the video that's going to come up at the end of this one. Don't miss out on that one if you're going pro. A lot of stuff that's going to shorten up that learning curve as well. All right, great to see you all today. And as always, I wish you many woofs, purrs, and TREATSs.